I know you know social media management is a lucrative industry to work in, but how does one really make $500,000? Today, I'm gonna share you exactly how I make $500,000 as a social media manager in 3 simple steps. Hey, my name is Mel and this is Bailey, and I own a $500,000 social media marketing agency, and I now help social media managers like yourself do the same. Now, let's dive in. The first step to making $500,000 as a social media manager is branding. Now, imagine you go to Apple and buy an iPhone 15 and they hand it over to you over the counter in a brown paper bag. Excuse me, right? The disconnect between a premium product inside of a brown paper bag creates a weird mental friction. The biggest brands that we know and trust, they all have one thing in common, and they have strong branding. Now, branding is so much more than just a logo. It's the feeling we create, recognition, emotion, personality, and all of these things combined. Now, when I first started out as a social media manager, I granted had no branding. I picked a few colors and fonts, put together a logo in Adobe Express, and I called it a day. But over the years, I've noticed and established how important having an actual brand is. Now, when people consume my content, they see my content, they immediately notice, hey, that is Mel, right? They don't have to look at the handle. They know based on the visuals, based on my voice, based on the opinions I have, they know that that is me. And this is so important for you to establish, especially when you want to be a high-ticket $500,000 making social media manager. This is one of the reasons why I teach branding inside of the elite social society, because this is really how you position yourself in the industry and set yourself apart from everyone else. Now, here's an example, a real example from the difference between when I didn't brand myself and when my agency now is fully branded and recognizable. It's something that people trust, they associate it with a good, high-quality service, and granted, it allows me to charge more. Similarly to Starbucks, I have a bunch of Starbucks cups standing here on my bookshelf. If you haven't seen it on Instagram, I keep those around because I use those as props in photo shoots. Now, if that doesn't tell you everything you need to know about branding, then I don't know what does. So this is the biggest step for you to become a high-earning social media manager. The second step to making $500,000 as a social media manager is pricing. Now, this is for most social media managers one of the hardest things to do and underrated and undervalued. So they're picking and choosing their prices based on either what their competitors charging, what they believe that they're worth, or what they think they should be charging, versus strategically positioning themselves to making profit. So when I hit my first 6 figures in my agency, I was way undercharging. I had a hard time hiring because I was undercharging. And so I stayed stuck in this social media manager cycle of stuck, as I would like to describe that, because I wasn't able to delegate more because I wasn't making enough money. When I did delegate enough, I wasn't very profitable. And so you need to price yourself according to your value rather than charge your word, as a lot of people like to say. So again, inside of Elite Social Society, I teach members how to price themselves. But as a good rule of thumb, you need to look at a couple of variables. Your own experience, how much experience do you have, where do you live, and what people in that area are typically charging if they were to be in a full-time job. Now, then you can calculate for yourself an hourly rate so that you have an idea of how much you want to charge per hour. Then you need to calculate your expenses, personal and business, to know how much you need to be making an hour to actually cover your expenses. And then you can reverse engineer your price point and put them into retainer packages. Now, inside of Elite, I provide members with a full financial dashboard that I tell everyone to fill out for themselves. It's something I use myself, where I can see exactly what my income is, what my expenses are, and what my net profit is, and even putting aside money for taxes, of course. And so without you knowing your financial picture, you cannot make decisions in your business, let alone be profitable and end up reaching a point where you're making $500,000 or more. Again, in the early stage of my business, I loved avoiding my finances and not having to worry about it and not even looking at it. But I'm telling you, even if you're not in a good financial position right now, or you only have one client, start making this a habit so that you know for yourself, how many more clients do you need? If you don't know, or if you can't answer that question right off the bat, then I know you need to start keeping track of that so you know financially where you're at and take action accordingly. The third step to making $500,000 as a social media manager is strategy. Strategy skills is one of the highest paying services in our industry because it is one of the most valuable skill sets. The reasons social media management will vary from anywhere from $500 a month to even $10,000 a month and up is because of the skill set someone has and offers. Someone that charges $500, $1,000, they do limited strategy, or at least that's what your pricing says. When you have strategy skills and you're constantly analyzing for clients, giving them strategy, getting them actual results because you have this skill, it changes everything. So when I first started out again at $300, $500, I didn't offer strategy. I wasn't sure what it was. Sure, I planned out their social media. I tried my best in making things work, looking at top performing posts, but strategy goes much, much deeper than that because you are actually tracking everything organically, whether it's link clicks, saves, likes, engagements, DM leads, engaging with potential leads and keeping track of those. You can track so many numbers and actually interpret that data. That's what strategy skills do. If you don't know how to track and interpret data, you can't make informed decisions to actually get your clients results. But once you're able to master that, and again, this is something I teach inside of the Elite Social Society and its framework, is on how you interpret data, how to strategize for a client, and you need to do it on an ongoing basis. You don't create a strategy and never look at it again, but you need to constantly be making those decisions for a client and sharing what's happening because we work in such a fast-paced industry. So again, the difference between me not offering strategy and charging $300 or $500 a month to now offering very in-depth high-level strategy, I charge anywhere between $3,000 to $10,000 a month for one single client. Also, once you have those strategy skill sets, you can build case studies for yourself, which again, you can showcase new leads. These are the types of results we get versus saying, hey, this is my portfolio. These are the pretty graphics we create. In terms of results, we're unsure what we can do, but we can make your feed look pretty. And so these 3 steps is what can bring you towards those 7 figures and beyond as a social media manager. Now, granted, I didn't get here overnight, right? This has been 6 years plus in the making and having lots of trial and error, learning, investing in mentors, coaching, and all of the things. And this is why I put together the Elite Social Society that's built around the framework of branding, pricing, and strategy, where I add training modules, new content for our members inside of the app every single month with 2 monthly coaching calls with me, myself, and I. And you get daily access to me for questions, support, and everything else. So if you want to take your business to the next level and become that high-earning social media manager and actually scale, then make sure you join me inside of Elite. Now, if you found this video helpful, then please comment below. I'd love to hear from you where you're currently at in your social media journey so I can help you out. And I hope to see you in next week's video.